Flow tells the story of a cat that we follow go about its ordinary life until a flood comes along and completely disrupts that. The cat finds solitude on a boat, but there are other animal species on that boat, and they have to essentially all learn to get along. Now, you might hear this and think, okay, got it, understood. So it's like a talking cat movie where, they all, are friends and stuff like that. No, this is actually told completely dialogue free. This isn't even an American movie or an English movie, interestingly enough. It's actually a Latvian movie where it's actually listed as Latvian, Belgium, and France, but the filmmaker is Latvian, so also it was submitted as Latvia's official submission for the Oscars, so that's fun. But yeah, if you don't speak, those languages, don't worry about it, because this is told entirely through animal sounds. Really, that's all we hear them say. Also, before we get more into the review, just want to remind you that I do have a letterbox. If you want to follow me there, it's at Jackson Kruger, so you can check that out if you're interested. But yeah, let's get back to the review. Obviously, in doing this, it creates just like this really difficult writing exercise, and I actually want to start off there, because obviously there's so much interesting detail this movie has going for it, but the writing part of it is something that's going to get overlooked, because a lot of people kind of think writing equals dialogue, and of course that's not true. There's so much that goes into writing besides just the dialogue, and it's a fascinating game you have to play when you're doing something like this, of you have animals as your lead. You kind of can't just have them just be animals. You have to humanize them to some degree, otherwise it's not really a movie, right? So this movie does do that, but it really kind of does that as little as it can. These animals feel like animals. Like, I have a cat, I have a dog, I have 2 cats and I have a dog, and they act the way that the animals in this movie act. I don't have a capybara, but I imagine that that is acting similar in a lot of ways as well. A lot of the fun of this movie really is the characters of this movie. Yes, the characters of this movie. There are a lot of, I think, interesting little details that these characters have. Of course, we see the cat. The cat likes like a laser pointer type thing, the reflection off the mirror, which is something that we all know cats do. But then we start to see little intricate things about this cat specifically, or about this dog specifically, which I think is what kind of fleshes it out and makes this work, in my opinion. The animation is awesome, and I think it is beautiful, and I also want to give a shout out to the music of this movie, because again, there's no dialogue, so the score is going to have to really sell a lot of what's happening, and in my opinion, it does exactly that. That and the sound design really help carry this film. And I think what this movie gets really right more than anything is these really intense sequences that will happen. I mean, I'm someone who, I think there's nothing scarier than when you're looking in water and can't really see what's behind that and don't know where everything is. I think that's horrifying, and this movie definitely takes advantage of that, because again, it's a movie where there's a flood, so there's that's a part of it, right? I think that stuff always freaks me out, and this movie had some moments that I think are very powerful, I guess is maybe what I would say, using the water. You really root for this cat as it's going about several things. There's a sequence, this isn't a spoiler, there's just I'm not going to get into spoilers in this movie because I don't think I have to. There's a sequence in this movie where you just see the cat going to try and get fish, and it's so terrifying, because you're I don't want the cat to get hurt. Water's scary. Something bad could happen. Please be careful, this cat that I am following. I hope things go okay. But yeah, there's just several moments where okay, one animal does one thing because it's an animal and that's what it wants to do. Then another animal does this thing, and it kind of sets off these chain reactions that often have some bigger consequences. So, I think that's part of what makes this so fun. I've heard writing sometimes described as a good writer can have a character wants an apple, and you as the viewer really want to see the character get the apple, and you're please get the apple. A bad writer can make something about the world ending, and the audience doesn't care and they're bored, right? This movie, I think, does a good job at even the small things you really care about. There's a point when there's an object gets broken, and it's a smaller object, and like I really feel bad that happened, and it's annoying that happened. I feel for the character in this moment, despite the fact that like at the end of the day, it's an animal being upset that a small thing broke, but it works. It's really well done, I would say. Even the way it's shot and the way that, I mean, I meant to mention this earlier, but it's obviously it's an animated film, but it's shot as though it's like handheld, where like you're seeing, someone hold the camera for most of the movie, which is just an interesting way to make an animated movie. I don't know if I've seen that before, but it really helps you kind of feel as though you're there. In fact, it almost feels a little like a video gamey what you're doing, even though obviously you're not interacting, but it just kind of the way that the objects move and interact with each other, the animals interact and move with each other. It just, I think, really works, and it's so well thought out. Every little detail just fully works for me. So yeah, if you can't tell, I really enjoyed this movie. As of right now, I think I'm going to give it a strong 8 out of 10. I could even be talked into a 9 out of 10. I actually had to double check my what I gave it on Letterboxd, because I watched just like a week ago. Did I give it an 8 or a 9? I gave it an 8, so that's what I'll stick with for now. But I could be talked into a 9, because it was, really, really enjoyable watch. One of the better movies I've seen this year so far. So it'll definitely make my top list at the end of the year, which I'll make a little bit later, because there's a lot of good movies coming out towards the end of the year, and I won't have time to watch them all on January 1st. So that's how I'll do that. But yeah, again, thank you to everybody for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I do enjoy hearing what you have to say. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.